Notre Dame is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win.
He's going in. Notre Dame has scored.
Well, we're in our preparation for Alabama. It's, for us, it's been a long layoff, but one that we think that we've, properly put the pieces together leading into today and tomorrow, which are, really intense practices, physical practices. We're out there, contacting and doing the things that we need to do to be prepared for Alabama on January 7th. We'll do that again tomorrow, and then go into our situational practice, and then, prepare when we get to Miami. But all of our work up to this point has had a focus towards peaking on the 7th. So, as you can imagine, today and tomorrow will be really probably the two most contact days that we'll have with our football team since the USC game. So that's a long time. So we've been working at really getting our football team as close to January 7th being in game-ready condition as possible. If we did all the work that we're doing right now in the first week in December and the second week of December, I don't believe it would have had the same effect. So we've kept timing and we've kept conditioning as the focal point, as well as incorporating every player on the roster in the first 3 weeks. So, you had a lot of guys like, Gunnar Keel and Will Mahone and Connor Hanratty and Jerron Jones. A lot of those guys getting a lot of work, a lot of young guys the first few weeks, as well as timing for our veterans, 7-on-7, 1-on-1, some inside tag-off work, as well as conditioning. Now we've when we sent them home for the break and we brought them back, we weight trained and conditioning one day. Yesterday we were in where I was just trying to get that timing element, make sure that was still there, which it was. And then today, full gear, banged them around pretty hard. It'd be, for those guys that follow us on a regular beat, it'd be kind of like an intense Tuesday for us today. Tomorrow will be like a Wednesday. So, physical, it's all about Alabama. And then we've done a little bit of 11-on-11 work because I want to keep that speed that you need against a great team like Alabama. So we did a little bit of a ones versus ones today at the end of practice, just to keep the speed in the game as well. I don't want the practices to slow down when it becomes all scout team. It has a tendency to become a little bit slower pace. So that's kind of what we've been doing. What have you guys been doing?
Waiting for you.
Me too. Waiting for the game to be played. So a couple more days, and we'll get ourselves ready to go down to Miami, and then we'll kind of rehearse the same kind of in-week preparation down in Miami that we would if we just had 1 week in the season. So that's all I have for you. Open it up to any questions.
Brian, Daniels, was this his first contact?
Yes, yeah, he was in contact drills today. So
How did that go?
he's good. He's good. We would not put him out there unless, he was free from injury. Now, he practiced the last 3 weeks, but in a red jersey. We just didn't want any contact. I usually don't put jerseys on guys, but I wanted him to be involved in all the timing work, but nobody could touch him. Now he's off the red jersey. He's go out, play, jump, get hit, fall down, and he's good to go.
How much do you think you can get out of a guy like that, considering the layoff, and yet when he got hurt, he was really starting to come into his own?
Oh, I think we'll be fine with him. He's a really good player that understands that his reps are going to be based upon how he practices and how he performs. So I'm certain that he'll play a role in the game.
And you talked about in some of the big games about the importance of chunk plays, and of course that's important here. But what role does an up-tempo game play here, as you chose to do coming out against USC?
I think there's a time and place for all of that. Are we going to be exclusively in a tempo? No. But I like to pick our spots. I think we're part part of our offense right now will reflect more of that at times during the game. It won't always be that way, but we'll pick our spots to use some tempo that we think can be beneficial for us. And as you know, personnel and moving personnel in and out of the game, we'd like some people to try to match up to some of our guys that we think you have a matchup problem with when we have, multiple tight ends on the field.
When you're playing a team like Alabama, certainly you're physically capable of competing with them and matching up with them, but when you're playing in Alabama, is there the need to go up tempo just to, break out of the wrestling match that it could be against a team like Alabama?
Oh, I definitely think it's something that, look, when you go up tempo, you simplify some of the calls. There's the chance that there could be confusion on the other end. So there's no question, Tim, that up tempo is beneficial during the game, and we're going to utilize it. But our whole game won't reflect that. We'll pick our spots where we want to use it.
And I think there's a feeling on the outside that what A&M did with Manziel, and the way they approach their game, is that the blueprint for success against Alabama's defense?
I just think there's a lot of things that you have to do there. If you go in there and say, all right, we're just going to play the game between the tackles, you're in for a long day. So I think we have to utilize the 53 and a third by 120. We've got to be attacking all areas and getting, the kind of matchups that we need offensively. That gives us. We got to get big chunk plays. I'm just going to tell you that right now. They know that. We know that. What are they? 2.5 per play. I think they're giving up. So if you think you're going to win the game just trying to pound it in there, you're not going to win the game. So we've got to find a way to get those chunk plays.
Ryan, just building on that, you've played very good defenses this year. It really has been a collection of quality defenses. What is it that Alabama does that is better than anything you've seen from those defenses?
Well, up front, they're athletic at 290 pounds. So their athleticism plus their size, the combination of both up front, make them very difficult to go against. And they're well coached. So very disciplined group, and they're athletic in the back end of the defense. So it's just a really good football team. I think there's some other teams that across the country you could take one player and go, wow, that's a premier player. There's not one of the 11 guys that you can go, let's go attack him. Where other weeks during the year we go, all right, let's get number 4. Let's go really try to match up. There's not a guy of the 11 that you could say we're going to do this. Nor on the other end do you say, well, we got to double this guy and we got to take him out of the game. They're just a good football team from 1 through 11 on the offense and defensive side of the ball.
Brian, you kind of joked a couple weeks ago that you grade your special teams on as an A+. What, improvements have been made here in these 3 weeks off to get them maybe closer to that level?
Well, we think it's all hands on deck for our special teams. First of all, it's a 1-game deal, so we can be certainly we can add to the personnel on our ST, and we'll probably look to do that. But no, we have not been spectacular, but we haven't stunk the joint up either. And we just need to continue to hold serve in ST, and maybe we can, find lightning in a bottle on a return, or, get a block, something to that effect. But our concerns are making sure we just take great care of the football and flip the field when we need to flip it.
Specifically, who would be someone who could?
I'm not going to get into the specifics. All I can tell you is that we're going to put all guys on deck in terms of trying to get the best players on the field, because it's a one-shot deal. I don't have to worry about, the next week or the week after and them getting too many reps, including ST.
Coach, in terms of your defense, how critical is first down? Is keeping them to 2nd and 8 rather than 2nd and 2?
Well, it's always been, each and every week has been the focal point. Our defense and Coach Diaco and the staff does a great job of formulating, their first down plan. Our first down plan is crucial, and so it allows us to do a lot of other things. So it's not enhanced, nor is it any less important in this game. We have to do a great job on first down. We have all year. Times that we haven't, you know, we haven't gotten off the field quick enough. So there's no question there's a lot of focus on first down for us.
Coach, what mentality you want your guys in once you get on that plane and down to Florida, just to get ready down there? What mentality?
Well, I'll give you an example. You know, I've always felt like in bowl games, you know, you kind of, you let your guys go down in the first night or two. You kind of let them, you know, get out there and have a little fun and kind of reward them for the bowl game. And I don't know if maybe I had a 2 a.m. curfew or something like that. You know, we're 11 o'clock. I mean, this is not a bowl game. You know what I mean? This is, you're playing for the national championship. So we're down there. We'd rather play right here in South Bend, but we got to go down to Miami to play. I don't know why you always got to go south. We'd like them to come up here, but we're there on a business trip, and that's kind of how we've approached it. And I told them that it was going to get to this. You know, you have to let me know if you want to do this, because when we go down there, here's the rules, and they all understand what it's all about going down to Miami. It's not enjoy, you know, South Beach. This is about preparing for a national championship game.
Have you started preparing them for the humidity and the heat?
No, not yet. We'll wait another day. We'll crank it up, and then we'll just use the 5 days down there to acclimatize.
Got a New Year's resolution?
No, when is New Year's? I don't even know when it is. What day is it? I'm not even sure. Is it Tuesday? I haven't really thought about it, to be quite honest with you. You know, coach a good game, you know, don't screw it up.
Brian, at the start of this process, you said that there was a lot of practice time left and that Everett needed to use that time to continue to make progress. Where's he at in that, and are you pleased with what he's done so far?
Yeah, you know, there's so many practices there that you're looking, you know, you're just looking for continued leadership and growth and a recognition of what you're trying to accomplish. I see all those things every day from him. And, you know, I think now he's probably at that level of, you know, needing to bring it every day, because he gets it now. He knows what's expected of him. Now it's about bringing it every single day, and that, you know, not just physical, because he's got the physical tools, but bringing that mental edge every single practice. That's hard to do as a young guy, but I think he's starting to understand that. That's kind of his growth right now.
Brian, just kind of housekeeping, your second team offensive line, no Stanley, Hegarty, Nichols. How would you get much out of that group over the last couple of weeks? Have you been able to work with some of the younger guys?
Yeah, we've had to be very careful in what we've done relative to contact with that group, because we're very limited right now. I think Nick Martin's played every position on the offensive line. He's been our versatile guy across the board. Mark Carroll's played a lot at the number 2 center position. He's done a nice job for us. It's just really been trying to manage the guys at this point where we're not overtaxing them. It's been a bit of a limiting situation for us. If there's probably one thing that has affected some of my thought process relative to engaging our O-line live against our D-line, it's been that we're a little thin on the offensive line.
Once you get down there, it's basically Nick, your second team tackle, and Connor, your second team guard.
Pretty much, yeah, I would say that that's a fair statement.
Brian, a little bit nostalgic, but is it odd or serendipitous that Notre Dame, when they hired Tom back in '91, to kind of set up your coaching career and get to the path we are now? You ever think about that?
I did, because somebody asked me, they were doing a story about my time at Grand Valley State, and it kind of got me thinking that the reason why I got the job at Grand Valley State was that Tom Beck became the offensive coordinator here. Now, I did not know Lou Holtz at all at the time, but when I saw Lou in Orlando, he reminded me that he started my career. Of course, that's Lou, you know. He didn't know me, but he got my career started. So that was a joke. I don't know if anybody, I guess not. But yeah, I got a chance to think about that one time that was brought up. You know, I see it more as that it's only 90 minutes away, you know, and, you know, to have your career be within 5 or 6 hours, you know, Cincinnati, Central Michigan, Grand Valley, and Notre Dame, I think that's been pretty neat.
Coach, I know you'd rather have had touchdowns than
the big game. Talk about the value, and look at the course of the season now of Kyle Prinze and what he's meant to this team.
Yeah, well, he's been clutch for us. So if there's one word, he's been pretty clutch for us. When we've needed that big kick, you know, when the game's on the line, he's delivered every single time. And, you know, he's a guy that, what I like about him is he doesn't get rattled. You know, he may miss one here or there, but there's generally not a pattern for him. You know, he breaks that pattern of missing one, and he'll come back and make one. So that's good to have somebody that doesn't get down on himself and can fight through a miss here or there. And he's only going to get better.
Ryan, the third year Notre Dame coaches everyone's talking about, but Nick Saban won his first one in his third year at Alabama. That seems to be the defining year in this day and age. Can you just explain what you think it is about that timeline?
I've been asked that so many times. You know, it takes some time, obviously, that, you know, to get all the pieces in order, you know, from top to bottom. You know, it's not just about players, it's coaches, it's leadership, it just takes some time. And if you have a plan that you believe in and you stick with it and everybody stays together and you have a good mix of good coaches and good players, then you can put yourself in a position to be successful. Does that mean it's a national championship? No, there's only a few people that can say they've ever done this. We bring them up, so it seems like everybody does it, but there's only a few that have ever done it. And I think it's just the 3-year is not magic as much as if you have good people and you have, you know, a good plan, then it generally takes a little bit of time to get that plan together. And it seems like that 3-year window is when it starts to come together.
Obviously, was talking about Dice Farley and all the extra work he had to put in, and he was willing to put in. What's impressed you the most about the way he's handled all the adjustments from this one?
Boy, there's a lot of things that I could say. First of all, he was a wide receiver that moved to safety, and he's not afraid of anything. Any challenge. If you ask him that he's got to take Portuguese, he'll learn Portuguese. You know what I mean? It's just there's nothing that he looks at and goes, I can't do this. He's got so much pride and so much confidence in himself that any task that you ask him to do, he's going to find a way. And the kid broke his hand, had surgery, and he played the same week. Now, first week, the first half, he didn't play very well because he was still thinking about his hand. He was challenged at halftime. He came back, he played great football in the second half. That's just he's just a special kid that when you challenge him, he's going to come through for you.
Well, you talked about making sure the best team on January 7th. For the guys is chomping bit. How do you hold back to make sure that they don't set themselves up too much too early?
I think the way we've coached them, you know, we've coached them in the sense that, you know, we're waiting to crank it up too. I mean, every day hasn't been a baseball bat to them, you know. We've kind of paced ourselves. We've coached them. We've taught them. We've made sure that we've hit the areas that have to be hit in terms of tackling and timing and conditioning. But we have to build up as well. You know, if it's game day, you know, right now, then we're not going to be where we need to be. So it's getting a sense and a feel from the coaches and myself that we lead them up to that crescendo as well.
Ryan,
One or two more.
Austin Collinsworth, were you ever able to get him back and have him help you, at least in practices?
No, and I don't know that this has been talked about, but he had a second surgery. He had back surgery as well. And successful back surgery,
I'll take the date.
we'll have to check the date. But he had a lingering, you know, he had a discectomy, kind of like Eifert had, very similar. I can't give you the exact, whether it was right or left. But he needed that attended to. He got that taken care of. He feels great. So we think we've got him put back together. He's chomping at the bit.
For spring then?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And then how much ones versus ones are you trying to do in this last little bit before you play the game?
Well, if you take an hour and a half practice, we're probably taking 10 minutes of that time to go ones versus one. I would go a little bit more, but we're thin on the offensive line. I can't afford to lose a guy there, so we've been cautious there on the offensive line.
You mentioned the young guy practices.
He's on a roll right now. Let him go.
You mentioned the young guy practices earlier in the process. Did anybody really jump out at you where you go, whoa, next year, you know?
I don't know that I was really looking at that as much as we wanted to try to keep some of the guys. I liked a lot of the things that I saw. You know, a guy that got a lot of work, Jarrett Grace. You know, because Manti was on the, you know, the Manti Award show circuit there. You know, he showed up nicely. You know, Jerron Jones looked good. You know, there was a number of guys. I didn't look at it as like a spring ball where we're trying to find somebody. We were just like, Gunner came in there, did a nice job. A lot of the guys got some work, but there was nobody, Eric, that I would say, man, you know, he's a can't miss guy.
Coach, when you got here, did you think you could get to this point in 3 years?
I didn't think that we couldn't, you know. So I've always thought in terms of what are the impediments or what are the things that will cost you from, because you come here because you want to play for a national championship. There was nothing that I saw other than, you know, practicing and playing their game the right way and developing our talent. That was the only element, and that was just a matter of time. So I didn't think there was anything, Angelo, that was there that said that we couldn't do it.
Coach, just to talk about the progression of Michael Jr. from the time you got here to where he is starting to go games this year.
The progression, first of all, physical strength has improved probably the most. He's got a you know, stronger lower body that he can get in there. That was something that needed to be addressed. I think Coach Longo and he did a great job of addressing it. And I say both, you know, both of them addressed it. I think that was important. I think the other thing was opportunity. He got opportunity. Sometimes you could be good enough to play and you don't get opportunity. He got opportunity last year when Cave got hurt, and that gave him the chance to be the starter in spring, and he held on. And he just kept working and was, you know, then an experienced football player. You know, he had so many snaps under him that it was going to be hard to unseat him. But I just think he brings all the other things. You know, when he handled the strength issue, right, and he got opportunity, then all of his strengths came to the top. And you know what his strengths are. The kid is sharp. He's very, very smart. He does not miss an assignment, you know, so the mental end is great. He comes to work every day prepared and ready to go. So once he got the strength and the opportunity, all of the things that he had now get a chance to show themselves. All right, happy holidays.